All right, Eli. Man, I'm excited to go through today, man. How have you been doing with everything we've covered so far? Like I know it's been a lot of content. We've done forging rapport and the questions, we've done the sales presentation, we just did the workout. How do you feel so far for everything we've covered?
I'm jazzed up, man. We're trying to close this deal. Let's close some deals.
Trying to make June happen, baby.
That's
I
right.
love it, man. Well, this is my favorite part. This is why it's my favorite part. Like, and I sucked at this part for a very long time. Like, I'm talking every wrong way you could do this part, I did it, right? Whether it was saying the wrong thing or not asking for the sale or being nervous or talking too much, like every single mistake I've made it. So I want to share with you what's really been my life's work was going through this process and how do we present our program in such a way that doesn't make it weird for the end client and it makes it super easy for us as the fitness professional where it just is really smooth process where it's almost like the doctor writing the prescription is really how I want you to mentally look at this aspect of it, because it's not about how many sessions. It's not about I'm asking for X amount of money. It's how long and how often do you want my help? Because we know it's going to take this long to get this result. We're going to figure out how often you would want or need me through that process. And then based on that, I'm just going to tell you how much it costs and how you want to take care of it. That's really the mentality behind this part. And it's why it's so powerful, because the client picks everything. None of this is you pushing. This is all of you pulling them towards what they said that they wanted when you first met with them. You're just laying out how they can get there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. So I want to go over to the three different parts. You've got your length of time, which is going to be the prescription. This is what we did on the program presentation when we went over like the fitness timeline, the prescription, like how long is it going to take Mrs. Jones to get her end result? Like this is where this comes in. And that's why that part was so important earlier, and why, I went off on those tangents, but you got to be specific with the goals, because you can't prescribe something that doesn't have a definite end date. Does that make sense?
Yeah. 100%.
Cool. The next thing will be the frequency. This will be how often they either want or need your help throughout that process, right? From there, we do some simple multiplication, and then over here is what's going to be their total cost for their program investment, which is where we're actually working out the budget and the money part of things. Now, you see that these are broken up into three things. There's a reason for that. Now, we want to give people three options, and the reason being is based on studies done in just any type of sales situation. Anytime you give more than three options, people get overloaded. And this is where you'll get people to have to go think about it. So if you laid out like six options and you're like, which one you want to do, they're going to go, I got to go think about it. You just fried their brain. And wouldn't you, if you laid out like 18 different numbers, which one you want to give me today? You're like, none of them, bitch, I got to go.
Yeah.
I'm
I do that.
terrified.
Yeah.
Right? So when
Yeah.
you do three, the science behind it is 60% of people pick the second option, no matter what it is. And the reason being is most people don't think that they're good enough for the low or the high option. They're not good enough, right? I can't afford the VIP. But they also know that they deserve more than the lowest one, which is why people pick the middle option. And it's funny, I'll share that with you. And I challenge you, next time you go and buy something, be mindful of like your behaviors. Like when I go and get my car looked at, I pick the middle option every time. I'm like, I want the middle pencil. I don't deserve the big one, but I'm better than the cheap one. Give me the middle one. I mentally did that every single time. I was like, holy cow, I didn't even realize I was doing that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
That's so true.
yeah. So outside that 60%, 20% will buy the low end and 20% will buy the high. So we got to present all of them, because you don't get what you don't ask for. If you don't ask for the big one, you're never going to get it, right?
Yeah.
So your top option is going to be your start to finish, whatever that is. That's for this example, let's just say it's 6 months. Like I know the prescription we've been using for the example is 5, but since 5 is an odd number, I just want to make it 6 to make it even. right?
Okay.
So your top option would be 6 months. So you go Mrs. Jones. What this would look like is we're going to work together from start to finish. This is from today to the promised land. At the end of that point, you can go the rest of the way on your own, or if you want to revisit another goal or keep going, we'll have that conversation when we get to it. Sound fair enough? She'll say, sounds fair enough. The second option would be halfway. So, Mrs. Jones, I know it's not quite all the way to the goal, and let's say it's losing 40 pounds, but let's say that we worked halfway to the goal together, and we were able to get 20 pounds off of you. Now, once again, I know it's not 40, but I'm sure if you lost 20, you would be pretty excited about that, wouldn't you say? Yeah, I'd be pretty excited, Eli. Well, cool. So this would get us halfway, and then from there, you can go the rest of the way on your own, or like what a lot of my clients do, if you're enjoying it and it's working, why wouldn't you stop? Or why wouldn't you keep going, right? So then we can revisit options at that point in time. Now, the third is the jump start, right? So this is where you're going to weigh up the minimum that you want to be able to work with this person for, right? So for 2 months, Mrs. Jones, this would get us 10 pounds off for sure. So your first 60 days, we're going to get you to the point where you feel better. And by the second month, we're going to get it where you can start seeing some physical changes. Now, once again, from there, you can go the rest of the way on your own. Or if you're like most people, you're enjoying it's working, we revisit options and we keep moving forward from there, right? Now, after you explain those options in that way, you're going to ask Mrs. Jones, with that being said, which one of these three makes the most sense for you and what you're looking for? And then you just sit back and you let Mrs. Jones pick. So for example's sake, just pick one for me.
Let's go halfway.
Halfway. Cool.
The middle one, the 60%er.
The one that 2/3 of people select. So we're going halfway. Now here's the cool thing I like to do. I like to ask why. The reason I want to ask why is I want to see what your mindset is and why you picked that one. Because there's two mindsets, right? There's either like, I want to test it out first. I'm not ready to commit all the way yet. Like, we just met. I'm not ready to get married yet, right? Another person may be, hey, if you can get me halfway, I can get the rest of the way on my own because I'm smart. You just tell me what to do, I'll figure it out. So it's good to know that stuff because it's going to help you in terms of not only working with them, but how to go through the rest of this presentation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, total sense.
Cool. So as we go through this part, we're going to go into cool. Now, out of the training frequency, this is where we're going to figure out how often do you feel like you either one, want me, or two, need me throughout this 3-month period. So you can see here, we can work up to 6 times a week if you wanted to. Now, I know we talked about earlier, you're only coming in 3 times a week. So let's just stick with 3 times a week of exercise and go from there. So I want to give you a few different questions to ask yourself so that you pick the one that's best for you. First question I want you to ask yourself, Mrs. Jones, is how comfortable are you going to be setting and making appointments each week? Because the reason that I'm asking or recommending that you think about that is because that is a part of the process. So that's something you're going to have to consider when making your choice. Number 2, how often do you want your program changed and mixed up? Because I can only change your program based on how many times I see you. If I see you every single day, I can make a change pretty quickly. If I'm only seeing you, say, once a week, well, then that's a whole week that we're going to have to go without seeing each other before I can make any tweaks, right? So the more we see each other, the more that can happen. Now, the last one I personally think is really important for you to consider, and that's going to be how often do you want to have workouts just like we had today where you're pushed just a little bit farther than you would have pushed yourself? Now, with that being said, Mrs. Jones, which one of these 3 do you feel like you would want or need me throughout a 3-month period? 3 times, 2 times, or 1 time?
You know what? I don't know. I have literally no clue what I'm doing, so I'm going to need you all 3 times.
Boom. And that dude, when they tell you that's just like how much you want to pay today. Let's skip the rest. Right?
Yeah.
Because once again, once I go, okay, cool, we're doing 3. So that's going to be 12 sessions a month. Now, I just want you to know, Mrs. Jones, if we don't see each other every single time that week or month, do not fret. The sessions just accumulate and roll over. I do ask that you give me a 24-hour notice so that I can plan accordingly for your program, so I know what you need to be doing on your own. And I also have other clients I need to value their time and their schedule as well. Right? Does that make sense? Does that sound fair?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. It's important that you cover that there, because that could be an objection. That could be a reason that they use as an excuse not to work with you. Well, what happens if I break my leg? Like, Mr. Jones, you never broke your leg before. Why are you talking about breaking your leg now? I don't know. My leg might break. I got to think about it, right? You don't want something as silly as that to get in between an opportunity for you to help them and then for them to obviously help you by becoming a client. So I just covered that to be thorough. I'm also setting the expectation of how early do you have to tell me when you want to cancel?
Yeah, 24 hours.
24 hours. None of this like 1 hour before or 2 hours. Like, nah, that ain't gonna swing, baby. Like, you're gonna let me know a day ahead. I'm setting that foundation up front, so it makes it a lot easier to service too. Cool?
Yep.
So let's do some math. 12 times 3 is 36. There you go. Welcome to fitness, man. We can do small numbers. Don't do the big. Give me some plates. I'll count all day.
Right.
That's $4.95. So we got 36 sessions, Mrs. Jones, is what we're going to use over the next 90 days, ideally. Like, I understand stuff happens, but ideally, 36 times we're going to visit over the next 3 months. Now, let me share with you how the session investment works. So really the sessions are going to range, and it's based on the more that you get, the lower it is per session. So there is a discount for the longer commitment programs, right? And to give you an idea of the range, the sessions are going to range from 85 to 70 a session, right? And the great part about the program that you just picked today, Mrs. Jones, is it puts it at 75. So you're almost at the maximum savings for doing a 3-month plan. So you're saving like $10 a workout. And that adds up over time, right? So that's the cool part about the program you picked today. And as you can see here, I'm getting my calculator because I cannot do the rest in my head. So you're going to do 75 times 36. So you're looking at your total investment is going to be $2,700. Now, Mrs. Jones, with that being said, there's 2 ways to get started on a plan like this. One, like anything, you can just take care of it, knock it out, and we're off to the races. We're off to losing our first 20 pounds together, and then we're setting a goal to hit the next 20. Now, the other option you have is we have a financing plan that is tax and interest-free. Basically what that means, Mrs. Jones, is I can break this up into several different installments for you. With that being said, which one of those options works best for you to get started today?
Yeah, money's not an issue, so I'm just gonna give you the money.
Okay, that's an ideal, like. And by the way, you will get those, and you're gonna do a little mini happy dance, and you're gonna try to hold it in and go up. Sure, just go grab your car as soon as you leave. You're doing the peacock, like you're getting excited. Right? You're like telling all the trainers, like, look what I got. Daddy got 2,700 today. But let's be real. Like, what do you think most people say?
Yeah, I'd have to split it up into sessions, definitely.
Right. So most people are going to ask, what does that look like? Right? The financing plan. That's what most people are going to say. Right? So when you get into that part, you go, great. So Mrs. Jones, with that being in mind, out of the 2,700, what would be comfortable for you to invest towards this today? And I can show you what that plan would look like and feel like. And now this is going to be the longest wait you're going to have out of the whole orientation. Your job is to sit back and not talk. And it's going to be extremely difficult the first few cracks you get at this, right? But once you get comfortable with it, it gets extremely easy. So you're going to sit back and you're going to let Mrs. Jones think about it right now versus having to leave and go think about it. You're going to get 2 responses. You're going to get, I don't know, or you're going to get 2, they're going to give you a number back, which the goal is obviously to get a number. If they just spit a number back and go, I could do half down, you shake hands and go done, and you do your payment plan, right? Most of them are going to go, I don't know, right? When they go, I don't know, here's what you say. You go, Mrs. Jones, I can completely understand not knowing that budget. I know when you came in to meet with me, you sure as heck probably weren't expecting to look at a $2,700 program today. I totally understand that. So let me give you a different way to look at it. So, Mrs. Jones, I don't know what this is for you, but what would it be worth for you on a monthly basis to set aside to make sure that we're losing 6 to 8 pounds a month, 1 to 2% body fat, so not just weight, but fat, to work towards that 40-pound goal that we have, right? If you knew that you're going to lose at least 6 pounds a month, what would that be worth to you to put aside to invest in towards something like this? Now you sit back and you let them repeat. And you do not move forward until you get a dollar amount. I don't care if they say $200 or if they say $2,000. The whole point is you have to extract a dollar amount. Now, let's say they undershoot it, which it happens. Sometimes people's stomachs are bigger than their wallets sometimes. Yeah, I'd love 6 months. That'd be 6,000. Oh, absolutely not. I just got my membership, man. And you're going to get that. You go, hey, I totally get it. So when you get like, hey, I could do like $300. Well, now that you know $300, well, now you can go with your prescriptive downsell. You don't have to downsell just on cost. Like, well, you're too broke for this. Let's do this. Like, there's no value in that. But if you go, hey, for $300, unfortunately, I can't do this one. This one has to be a minimum of a third down, right? Which a third for this one would be $900. So that's the minimum I could do with this one. Now for $300, what we could look at is either decreasing how often we see each other, right? So maybe not every single time, but we could see each other like once a week. And I'll give you what to do and how to do that on those other days. You just got to come in and do it, but I'll lay out that plan step by step, right? That's one option. The other one is we could decrease the time. Instead of, doing 3 months, we could look at doing 1 or 2 months if you really feel it's that important to have me with you every single time as we go forward, right? And now this is where you would break down those price options. So if you did like, hey, I want to keep the frequency with you, well, that's 12 sessions. That would be $900. And then maybe you could look at splitting that up if you have that option, right? Most likely, you don't want to have payment plans that go past like the session training frequency because now you're in a whole nother issue. So you might look at like, hey, we'll do 12 sessions, but we're going to split them up over 3 months. So if you did 900, like once a week for 3 months, that's exactly $300. So instead of training 3 times a week, now you're going 1 time a week for $300, and you didn't decrease value, you just changed how you got there. And they just told you they could do 300. So they're like, done. You're shaking hands and you're moving forward. Now you have a 3-month plan, 1 time a week, total of $900 an invoice, but you got $300 down for the payment.
Yep. I like that. That's intelligently done.
Now, then you're building the dues, EFT.
Yeah.
Yeah. So questions, thoughts, feedback about that?
So really it makes sense with given the prescription and the full amount and then having to adjust it based off of the down payment. I noticed that you don't put in the all the way or the third of the way if they've already picked the halfway option, or just to give them an idea of what they're looking at, or would you build a whole?
So I only click on what they pick.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is like, it's kind of like a checkbox, right? It's like, hey, you pick this one, and then you pick this one. Oh, that's going to be this now, right? So it's almost like Build-A-Bear. If you've ever gotten a Build-A-Bear before, like you literally build that whole bear step by step, and then you go in there wanting to buy a $30 or $40 bear, you're leaving with a $280 damn bear.
Yeah.
They got you with the overalls, they got you with the hat. I bought the Jay-Z shades. Like, I was like, damn it, I spent $300 on a teddy bear today, because they did the same process with me. Like, well, pick this, and then pick this, and then pick this, and then here's your total.
Yep.
But I was too far down the rabbit hole. I was like, I've already made too many yeses. I can't back out now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it makes sense. So, and then the times per week you have there, the 3 times, 2 times, 1 time. Do you really feel like there's any situations where do clients really do 5 times a week? I mean, is that
Hey, sometimes, man.
yeah?
So it's all based on how many days a week they said they're going to work out, right? So remember when we went over the movement part, like the frequency? If they're working out 5 days a week, you could potentially go, hey, we can see each other 1 time a week up to every single time.
Yeah.
Now, most people, and I'm talking like 99%, it's going to be 3, 2, or 1. But once again, if you don't ask for it, you don't get it. I'll leave that up to you to decide if you want to run that in there or not.
So we're taking everything from their goals and the information that we've had on the previous sheets. We're putting that into the length of time that we see that they want to get there, letting them pick their frequency in terms of how often they want to work with you, and then just running the total out and seeing what they can throw on it, and from there adjusting as necessary. That's basically
that is basically it, right? And just
yeah.
going, and there's a lot of subtleties with like the why I said things the way that I did. Once again, I don't want you to just like memorize and be a robot and just, I gotta say what Jonathan said. I want you to understand the why I'm saying what I'm saying, and then find your voice with that to make it your own.
Yeah.
Like the reason I ask those questions with like, before I just go like the training frequency, I give them those 3 questions to ask themselves, is I'm putting it 100% on them so that when they make a choice is because they want it. They made the choice. I didn't push them into it. I didn't go, you have to do 3 times a week, Mrs. Jones, or you're going to keep being fat. Like, no, that's a terrible thing to do. It's also a terrible experience for them. Now they're like, oh, my trainer like forced me into this like 50 session package. I didn't want to do it. Then they don't re-sign and they wonder why, where'd my clients go? Well, stop hard closing them and making a crappy experience. Let them pick what they want. If they start at 1 time a week and you give a great experience, I bet you they will want to upgrade. I promise you. You know what? I need more Eli in my life. Can we do 2? Yeah. Can you pay your payment sooner, Mrs. Jones? Yeah, I can do that. Give me that money.
Yeah. Honestly, that's a much better way than I've gone about it. I'm not a hard closer, but that's definitely I like that it's giving them the ability. Again, I'm just clicking. You're just clicking and letting me talk, and you're letting me walk into what turns out to be the session cost. That's makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, man, you're the doctor. Going based on what you said that you wanted and based on what you said you needed, here's the total investment. Once again, there's 2 ways to get started. I don't care which one we do. My goal is to get you to your end goal, regardless of how long you want me a part of you hands-on with that. I just need to figure out what's going to get you started. If you want to go 3 months, great. If you want to do 2, that's fine. And if you want to do payments, that's fine too. We just need to make it congruent so that I know what to give you outside of our time together so you're successful. Not only when we start, but once we get to your goal and you don't have to maintain that and go after the next one. That's why I do what I do.
Yeah, I can't wait to start trying this.
Yeah. Dude, it's not fair. It's not. It's not fair. And I'm not saying that to be arrogant or cocky, but it's just that powerful when you make it about them in every aspect. And I think that's the biggest mistake people make when it comes to sales. Like, it's not about selling to someone. It's about providing a service and helping someone.
Yeah.
This is just how we get there. You pick what you want to do to get there. I'm just showing you the path of how we get there. And then you just confidently ask for it. You sit back and you let them choose. It's really that simple.
No, this is awesome. Yeah, no, I like it. Yeah, can't wait to get this rolled out. This is great.
Yeah, man. And you can do this with group coaching. You can do this with your hour sessions, your 30-minute sessions. You just have to put the range so that they understand that there's value in longer commitment. This is how you sell higher ticket programs. Worst case, I just got $300 over the next 3 months. $300 a month to see you once a week. That's $75 an hour with you. Like, that's good money right there. And then I have an opportunity to upsell you through the experience and go, I should see you more, or hey, you should probably throw some group on there too, because I know you can't afford to do as much one-on-one, but if I got you in the group another 2 or 3 times, I think that would be a great addition to our program.
Yeah. And I imagine you would start suggesting these along terms of just seeing results faster. If they're expressing any, hey, I'm not seeing the results I'm looking for, then hey, let me toss in a couple group, toss in a couple there so I can see it more. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's getting into like the coaching cycle, which that's going to be a whole nother training session that we do. But this is just initially setting the expectations of what they should expect. That's worst case, and getting them started. Now they're inside your actual client system, where you're going to take them through the assessment. You're going to go through the client calendar and walk through that process with them, which we'll go through that in a later training.
Yeah. Awesome. Looking forward to that one.
Cool, man. So what I'll do is I'll let this roll around in your mind for a little bit. And then what we'll do is we'll come back at a later date. We'll do some role plays with this. And then this is obviously something that you can start role playing with your team so that you can roll this out and start making it happen, man. Start kicking butt in June.
Yeah. Hey, looking forward to it. This is awesome. Thank you.
All right, cool. Well, Eli, I appreciate your time, man. And until next time, my man.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Jonathan. Appreciate it, buddy.